Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. This week we're talking about one of the best sci-fi action horror movies of all time, Predator. And joining me today to talk about this awesome movie is Owen Quinn, you son of a bitch.
I'm back.
You're
I'm
back.
back. Hello, babies. Literally from the dead, as I was telling Stephen, because I've had a very sick weekend for some reason after a dance music festival in Belfast. It was amazing, but it was pouring out of the heavens. So I had to buy. I was only having my jacket on, and I had to buy a wee '80s hat. And didn't really, it didn't really do much, but I had a great time. But I've just been very, very sick since. So
So Owen is after running himself into the ground from going to all these raves.
yeah.
He's sick
Here,
of
do you know what happened at one? Here, would you hear this before we go any further? So because I wear shorts, I can't wear long trousers at the minute.
right.
Since I got the leg, everybody can see it's obviously a false leg. So this fella came over. I got loads of hugs and everything from complete strangers,
All right.
uh, or else they owed the money, one of the two. But this guy came over. He says, "Yeah, I've half a leg as well." I said, "Right, okay," and he lifted his leg up for me to feel it. It was a real leg. He hadn't got a false leg. I'm going, why am I feeling your, your real leg?
Did he trick you into
And
feeling him up?
yeah, and to feeling his leg in the middle of Belfast in the pouring rain, it was like something out of freaking EastEnders. So I go, way about you. Bye
Own,
bye.
own. I need to teach you a little bit about stranger danger.
Oh, listen, I just attract people like that. It just must be like a hormonal thing or pheromones or something. But yeah,
Maybe.
it's all good stories for the grandchildren.
Yeah, yeah. So Predator. One of the great things about Predator is its cast. It's got a great cast. So we
Mm.
have some lad called Arnold Schwarzenegger. You ever heard of him?
Uh, Arnold Schwarzenegger's him. Yeah, that one.
So we have the great Arnold Schwarzenegger. We have Carl Weathers. We have
Met
some.
him.
You met him, yeah. You were saying just
Yeah,
before this, yeah.
yeah.
Uh, that was awesome. That'd be awesome to meet him.
He was really, really, really nice, I have to say. Signed a pair of boxing gloves from my son's friend. And
Ah,
we regret now we didn't get a picture for some reason. I don't know why we didn't get one,
right.
but he was really, really nice. And came to the SSC Arena in Belfast for one of the Comic Cons, along with Margot Kidder. He was there. And now they're both sadly gone.
Yeah, such a shame. So Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Dutch, Carl Weathers plays Dylan, Sonny Landham plays Billy, Shane Black plays Hawkins, the great Bill Duke plays Mac, Richard Chavez, is it? Richard Chavez
Chavez, yeah.
plays
Yep.
Poncho, and Jesse the Body Ventura plays Bane. And I believe it was Kevin Peter Hall who played the Predator.
The late Kevin Peter, yep.
Yeah. Was he in the suit the whole time, or did they ever use someone else for some scenes? Was it always the same person? Do you know?
I think it was mostly him. I suppose for anything stunt wise,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
they might have used somebody else, but Michael or Kevin Peter Hall was like, as you know, Harry from Harry and the Hendersons as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I did hear
so
that. I used to love that
yeah,
movie.
so it's awesome. Um, but I think they probably put stuntmen in for certain sequences.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, they must have changed it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, right. So the movie opens up with a spacecraft dropping off a predator onto our planet. Owen, for people who might not have a clue for some reason, what is a predator? What are they?
a predator is a species of alien that hunt almost like a warrior caste. So say for example, this one was a young predator had to prove themselves. They would be sent to a planet to hunt down whatever in order to prove their worthiness to evolve. I think it was evolved to next levels because when you look at Predator 2, you see there's an elder and there's almost like an older warrior caste. And so it's almost like a tribal initiation. so
Yeah.
that the younger ones can prove themselves. They have a lovely habit of once they kill you, they take your skull or your spine or something for
Trophies.
trophies
Yeah.
to prove the thing. So some of them are on their belts, as you saw in Predator 2. Some of them are actually stored in cases on the walls for display to show their worthiness as predators.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a tribe. It's an ancient tribal thing for the that's in our society of going out and proving yourself as a young boy. They did it in Star Trek with the Vulcans as well,
Yeah.
setting them out into the wilderness. But the predators, that's what they are. They are honorable. They're not just nasty aliens. I mean, they've got a code of conduct as well. If you're pregnant, they'll never kill a pregnant person either.
Yeah. Or unarmed.
Yeah, unarmed because they are. If you have a weapon and even if I've seen it when even if you're just holding a weapon, you're fair game.
Yeah.
Do not shoot your weapon or throw it away.
Yeah, there's a
But
scene in
it's
this movie where the woman picks up a gun and Arnie kicks it out of her hand because he knows she'll be
yeah,
in danger.
yeah. Because it's fair play to them. If
Yeah,
you're a threat in any way, and they're the most amazing weaponries, and they have the cloaking device, the shimmer device,
yeah,
so they can move from tree to tree, and you can just see the ripple
yeah,
in some sequences. You know when you're looking for them,
yeah,
and their eyes sort of glow just before something happens. It's they are a really unique. There'd be nothing like it really at that time when the movie came out.
yeah. I
Um,
I still think it's one of the best creature designs on
it
film.
is, it is, it
The
is.
the
I
creature
mean,
design, the lore, and even like I hadn't seen this movie in a good few years, and I rewatched it today, just before this, and just amazed by the effects and the way the creature looks, and not just his character design, but how convincing it is, its face, and I think it looks incredible still.
it still does. I mean, they're still doing Predator to this day. There's two new Predator movies coming out this year as well as an Alien one. So you look back how old Alien and Predator are. Predator was 1987. So it's 97. That's been 30 something years
Yeah,
since the first Predator came out. That's not bad going for a franchise
pretty good
that you don't
going.
get. And the good thing is you don't get an awful lot of it. So it doesn't dilute you. I mean, you've had some terrible ones like The Predator. And then everybody, I think Predators split people.
Yeah,
I wasn't fussed on it. Some people love it. The Predator, I think everybody hates it where they introduced the super predator and changed the backstory a wee bit
yeah.
on
That's one thing.
about why they hunt.
I haven't watched it because it was just one of those things where it's like I don't think I'll enjoy it. I watched a bit of it. I listened to people whose opinions I trust talking about it, and I was just like, I don't think I'll like it. But one thing I heard that I don't like at all is that they changed the lore and
Yeah,
about like why they take your spines and all this kind of stuff,
yeah.
and I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the idea.
No, the idea is that they're actually dying out. So they're looking our DNA to help them survive the species, evolve the species. But yet that movie was written by Shane Black.
Yeah, that's why I
The,
had
ri-
high
the
hopes.
yeah, the writer of the original, and he was in it as well, as you know, as Hawkins.
Yeah,
Um, but it was just a bizarre twist to go down. It sort of took away from what they were because there's no reason for them to be dying out. And that surely human DNA would dilute them, even though
that's what I
we're
mean. Like,
probably good,
why
good
would they look to
predators ourselves.
us? I mean, surely they're the superior race almost.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are. Well, they are, but it was never explained why.
yeah,
And then they sent the super predator to kill the other predators.
yeah.
Um, but it wasn't. I never thought it was a good idea. But then at the time of Predator coming out, remember there was no internet or anything them days. There was I swear I was lying thinking about this in my fevered state last night. Was there was a magazine called Starburst? I don't know whether you remember it. It was all
It does.
sci-fi
It does ring a bell.
and
Yeah.
horror. Yeah, and that's where you got your information from Predator, or for everything.
Mm.
There was a couple of other sci-fi magazines, and then TV Zone came out. but that's what you were reliant on for any information about a film. So literally, what we had was an article about this new movie that was coming out. Um, and when you look at the day, you just press a button and you find out what's going on before the movie's even started. There's a disturbing trend I found on YouTube where a film will come out tomorrow, and the ending and the post-credit sequences and all sorts of the big battles are almost on YouTube instantaneously.
Mm.
I know everybody says, "Oh, you can just don't watch it." It's sort of hard to watch when it pops up while you're scrolling and starts playing.
Yeah.
But that was the good thing about Pride. The whole mistake and the mystery. You didn't know what you were expecting or walking into in the cinema in them days, because as you know, the movie split into almost like Commandos, the first part, or one of his other new films like that. He's going on and to bust the terrorists and
Yeah.
save the day, and then suddenly, like dusk to dawn, it switches
Yeah.
into this whole. It's a whole new concept,
Yeah.
and that ups the ante. That you had to sort of be there to figure, to see that, to feel that impact or know what that means
Yeah.
compared to today where you see so much.
Yeah.
But
One thing I would have
Starburst, I
liked,
don't even know if they'll go
one
on.
one thing I would have loved to have seen, like, so as you say, back in the day, you might have walked into some movies, not knowing as much as, like, nowadays. It's very hard to walk into something without knowing almost everything that happens.
Yeah,
Like a friend
yeah.
of mine, he was telling me about how he seen T2 in the cinema, and he had no idea Arnie was going to turn out to be the goodie in it. And like that would have been amazing.
I can't remember. Did I know that before I went in?
Yeah, he
Because
did.
I used to pour over them magazines.
There you go. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
I
don't
can't
get
actually remember that. But yeah,
you don't
you didn't know that was it. You
no
didn't know.
similar with this. If we'll say you don't know anything about this movie, I think I would have liked if they didn't open with the spacecraft, so that
Yeah,
you don't know what the hell it is out there. Is it supernatural? Is it a monster? Is it a creature of, like, just something that mutated in the jungle or whatever? And then it's revealed. I would have liked that, but
yeah.
it's not a massive
That
deal. But
no, it's not a big deal.
yeah,
But it would add the thing because if I remember right, all the buzz about the movie was it was Arnie fighting the alien predator. So
yeah,
it get told you it was an alien and knowing all the articles and stuff. So you sort of knew what was coming, but it just and because it took that long to happen, but it drip fed it with the skinned bodies and the soldiers and rigging the camp and blowing the terrorist camp out of the water, and then suddenly the alien sitting watching you, recording what you're
yeah,
saying, studying you to see exactly where you're a threat, where you're worthy enough for
yeah,
it to go after you. So it could add your skull to its trophy, sort of thing.
yeah,
Yeah, you knew none of that. None of that.
yeah. So back to this movie, which is an excellent movie. So it opens up with the spacecraft, and then soon after that, we're introduced to Dutch's elite team. Um, and it's a great intro, and I love Dutch's intro to this movie. He was just sitting in the helicopter smoking a cigar. I think it's awesome.
Mm.
And then just after that, we meet Dylan, and we get that the most manly greeting you'll ever see in a movie.
Hello, who's got the biggest bicep?
Yeah. And he's like, "What's the matter, Dylan? They got you pushing too many pencils." Arnie wins the exchange, and they, hug and say hello and all this. So we see that they were at one point anyway really good friends, and
Mm.
then they're filled in on their mission. So they're told that it's a rescue mission, and their team is the only team that can pull it off. So um, they all go into the jungle, and Dylan goes with them. And Dutch doesn't like that initially because he's like, my team work alone, but it's part of the deal. They all got their orders, so Dylan and the team fly in on the helicopter, and the helicopter scene's great. You get lots of little bits of character in that, and they have Long Tall Sally playing on the radio, which is such a great song. It kind of gets tied back into the movie later on, which is pretty cool. And you get Jesse the Body's character, what's his name, Blaine, who claims to be a sexual tyrannosaurus, and he's chewing tobacco and he spits on Dylan's foot because he doesn't want him there, and Dylan just gestures at him to come in close, and he goes, "That's a nasty habit you got there." Um, And there's some little bits of interplay between the team, and it's all
Mm.
really cool. Um, and then they land in the jungle, and there's our first really big action scene, which is great. So uh, we see we see how good this team is, and they take out all these bad guys, and we get some great Arnie one-liners.
Mm.
Stick around,
Stick around.
knock knock. You have to put them in. But what's great about this, they don't overdo it with all that. Like they still maintain the tone pretty well, even though we got some quips in there.
Mm. But that was the trend of the day. Everybody had to have a quip or a smart ass remark like Die Hard, even Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
Um, Before they killed somebody or as they killed somebody, there was always something. Even what do you call him, Stallone.
yeah,
It was almost like they were all trying to outdo each other and who could come up with the most iconic quip
yeah,
just before like the killing quip sort
yeah.
of thing.
Just before the
I
the
remember,
final blow.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So there was full of it in that age. Every film was full of it.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. But yeah, there's only a couple in this, and so after that action scene, we find out that Dylan wasn't completely honest with the team,
No,
uh, and they're not too happy about it, and they that's where they find the woman. I think her name's Anna, and
yeah,
they decide, oh, we're gonna take her with us. So they have this woman, and they tie her hands up and take them. And at first, she doesn't appear to speak English, but we'll find out later that that's not true. And Dutch tells Dylan, she's your baggage. You want to take her. If you fall behind, then you're on your own. So, Dutch is a little pissed at Dylan for not being honest about what this mission was. And then it's not too long after that where something starts hunting this elite team of soldiers.
fuzzy because they don't even realize at first that it's there while they're taking out the terrorist camp.
Yeah,
They just don't even realize it. And I think there's a lot of lore, knowing the Bigfoot and creatures in the forest sort of thing. There is a lot of lore at the minute
yeah,
about it being they call it the predator effect. Because there's all these stories of people saying it can big what's the word, cloak itself.
yeah.
Um, but it's the jungle, which isn't the friendliest place in the in the first place.
No,
And there's this thing that will take everybody out in 2 seconds. Um, because they don't know what's there. The biggest funny in my books, it's like, what's the scariest thing? The scariest thing is, in the Time Warriors, is the thing that you don't even know existed. So it's not even in your head that it could exist, but until it comes and grabs you by the throat, sort of thing. And this is until they start getting attacked and then realize exactly what they're up against. That's the scary thing. And you're seeing really big, hard men suddenly scared shitless
yeah,
by
yeah,
something outside their scope.
yes.
And they
I,
think it's a terrorist and think they're trying, the mind will try and reason it and lock it into a category that's familiar. And as they find out, they can't. It's something that's just they've never experienced before, but can take them out in 2 seconds.
yeah, yeah. So it starts killing them off one by one because it's hunting them
Mm.
for sport. Um, there's one scene that made me laugh where your one's explaining what happened to. It was Hawkins that got killed first, I believe, wasn't it?
Think so. He got the chest blew out of him, didn't he?
Yeah, he went
They
running
were
after your
they were
woman.
starting talking. Yeah, they were starting talking, and his chest exploded.
Yeah, so he went. I think he chased after your woman, so he was kind of on his own for a little bit, and he got taken
Mm.
out by the predator. And later on, they're asking your one what happened to him, and they can't get their head around what she's saying. She's like, the jungle came alive, and it
Yeah,
cloaked
swallowed
itself.
him.
It cloaked itself like a chameleon and all this. And Dylan's like, he was killed by a fucking lizard.
Lizard, yeah.
I was-
Technically, yes, just not the type of lizard he was thinking of.
It was just so funny the way he delivers that line. I'm a
Yeah.
fucking lizard.
That actually gives it a reality. As I said, when we would watch these, we have to literally watch them
Yeah,
in a lot more detail than we ever did before. When you look at that, that's actually falls right in with the human psyche to what I was saying there about trying to categorize it into something that's familiar
yeah,
because it's so unfamiliar.
yeah,
Your mind can't really grasp the reality of it.
yeah, yeah.
But I did love Blaine's like gun, the helicopter gun
Oh Jesus,
that he
yeah,
just put. That's classic. That's iconic. But apparently that was done on purpose. It was actually a helicopter gun, and they adapted it so that he could carry it and just blow everything away. And yet,
it suits his character.
yeah, it's all bigger than life. He's larger than life,
Yeah,
and yet
he doesn't even have
done.
time to bleed.
No, and then he's done. It's like, uh-oh. So I think
Yeah,
his character is the one, the death, his character's death is the one that really hits it home to the rest.
yeah,
Okay, we're up against something here that can take him out,
yeah,
and we're all equally as big. And Billy would be the biggest, baddest of them all because he doesn't seem to have a soul.
yeah. That's when that's a great scene where it's like you find out Billy's afraid, and they're like,
Mm,
you and one of his teammates goes, Billy, you're not afraid of any man, and he goes, it isn't a man, something along those lines. So
yeah,
when they
yeah,
see
that
that
was
Billy's
tragic.
yeah, when they see that Billy's afraid, it makes them even more afraid.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, so Hawkins goes first, and then was it Blaine?
I think it's playing second. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
there's
where
no Billy and Chavez and stuff didn't go to later on,
yeah,
along with Mac.
yeah. Um, so yeah, Blaine goes, and Mac was really good friends with Blaine, so it really affects him. And
Mm.
I think Bill Duke's it's Bill Duke, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, Baltic.
I think his performance in this is fantastic. I think he's great.
Yeah,
Um,
it's that story he tells.
yeah,
No, they've set the trap, and he's
yeah,
doing that story kind of, and there's also like when he told Dylan to turn around and he spiked the scorpion off the back of his neck. It's wee things like that
yeah,
sort of make him a more three-dimensional character.
yeah,
But it's that soliloquy even where he's talking about Blaine,
yeah. It's so
Blaine
well
being dead.
performed. It's so well
Yeah, but
performed.
Bill's brilliant. He was in. Oh Christ, was he in Manifest recently?
I don't know, but he should have been in a lot more stuff. I think he's great. Um,
Yeah,
it just shows like when you have a premise like this that's obviously quite outlandish, an alien coming from outer space to hunt an elite team of soldiers, like. But if you have performances that can just really sell it, it just elevates the whole thing. And there's two performances that I think really stand out in this one. One is Bill Duke, and Carl Weathers. I think he's a brilliant actor.
yeah. He
He
was actually booked to go to Dublin Comic Con, and then was it last year? I think in the March show. I
yeah,
think, um, and he died unfortunately a few weeks before.
I would have loved to meet him. He's in
Yeah.
one of my other favorite films of all time, Rocky.
Oh yeah,
Love Rocky. I love Rocky 1 and
he's the
2.
man.
Um, but yeah, he gives a great performance in this. He really sells it to you.
You know who
Oh
I think's the most underrated performer in that is Richard Chavez as Pancho. And the reason I say that is at the time he went on to do a TV series, War of the Worlds, based on the War of the Worlds,
yeah,
where he was the tough colonel heading the team to fight the alien invasion.
yeah,
And then they sacked him and another character after the first season, and then went in a completely different direction. It didn't last. But I recently saw him being interviewed, and he had so many nice things to say about Predator and the making of it
yeah,
and all the relationships. I didn't have a bad word to say about nobody.
yeah,
And then I was watching some of his. I've seen his performances over the years, and he's actually much better. Of course, he's Native American as well, so it's a great representation then,
yeah.
which I'm all for. But I think he's underrated. I think he does bring a lot to this movie too.
Right.
as all not as fearful as Hudson was in Aliens, but almost. But he keeps control of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I
He
getcha.
is terrified. And he says to the girl, when he's doing that scene with the girl, he's terrified, but he still has a control
Yeah,
on his fear because he's a soldier.
yeah,
So I think that's the underrated. I think it's like everything else over time becomes more appreciated the more you watch it and you
yeah.
sort of know about him.
Yeah, there's a few little things I like. Speaking of like the soldiers being afraid, when Mac finds out that Blaine is dead and they fired off all those rounds into the jungle and they can't find a trace of anyone. Um, and Mac is just kind of staring into space. He's like in a daze or whatever. And Dutch is calling him. He's like, Mac, Mac. And then he goes, Sergeant. And then that snaps him out of it as in like, okay, I need to go back into my duty mode. Little things
Mm.
like that I thought were really good.
Yeah,
Um,
but little things like that also add to the camaraderie and let the audience identify with them because, like, none of us are soldiers, none of us have muscles like that, um, but we know what it is to be afraid.
yeah,
So when you see even the biggest of us being afraid, you know it's a major threat.
yeah. I mean, this elite team is now suddenly outmatched,
Yeah,
and they're just dealing with stuff they don't understand. And as I said, your one's explaining what happened, and they're like, what are you talking about? What is this thing we're dealing with? And earlier they found the men skinned alive as well. Um,
which is lovely being eaten by the crows or the
yeah, I mean,
whatever jungle bugs they were.
it's such a great build up of atmosphere. I think it's so well done.
Mm.
Oh yeah, one thing I meant to mention when we're all in the helicopter is we get the first of Hawkins' jokes. He's trying to make
Oh yeah,
Billy laugh, and I like that little thing between the two of them. He's trying to get him to laugh, and the first joke obviously doesn't land. It fails miserably, and he just sits back in the helicopter and continues reading. It's like, okay, that didn't work, and then later we get one that makes him break out laughing, and of course the Predator records the laugh
records it.
and reincorporates that later in the movie. But yeah, I think the performances are good. Even the lady who plays Anna, I don't have her name
Yeah,
here. I think she's
Eddie
good.
Carrillo.
Yeah, and even I think in some movies Arnie gives a good performance, and I don't think he gets enough credit for it. Sometimes, like there's times where, he is performing really well,
Yeah,
and I think this is one of them. Um,
yeah.
he really sells his relationship with the team and all that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, then so Blaine dies, and we get that scene where they're all firing just all the rounds into the jungle to try and hit whatever it was, and they examine Blaine's wounds, and they're like, what the hell could have done this? His wounds
Mm.
cauterized and um, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, it just adds to their confusion. And we is it is it just after that we find out that the predator bled, and we get the line, "If it
Yeah,
bleeds, we can kill it."
that's that's the line. I think I've seen it parodied so many times or homaged in so many movies.
There's a few
Was
things
it?
like that in this
If it
because every time Arnie says "get to the chopper," I laugh because it just feels like a parody. you know?
yeah, they did that in the Predator as well.
Oh, did they?
Get to the chopper, but it was a chopper bike.
Oh God.
It wasn't a helicopter, and it was so that really felt forced.
Oh yeah.
Um, and it just sort of fell flat, which is again surprising because it was shown Shane Black, but it just didn't work. The chopper bikes,
Yeah.
no, it
Yeah.
didn't work at all.
Shane Black's
I
written
think,
some really good things. Like I was just,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's just kind of, you know,
Well, as I say, listen, we don't we don't set out to do a bad story, but we don't. Not all stories are going to be good.
yeah, yeah. You'll hit and
So
you'll hit some and you'll miss some.
yeah, and
Just
I
like
sort
the
of wonder at the same time how much studio interference there was with the Predator. Whereas
it's
probably
hard to
during
tell because there are some movies where people seem to be given full control and it still can
yeah,
end up really bad. So it's really hard to tell where the issues are.
yeah, Rob Zombie's very vocal in that because he got obviously did the Halloween remakes, and they were awful. But he when he found out it's actually studio interference, they think they know, and it's not studio as in I was an actor, I was an artist, I was a director, I was a scriptwriter. It's somebody that went to school as an accountant and looks at the figures and goes, "I think we should do that because they've been brought up on soap operas."
Right.
Soap operas and predators do not mix at all.
Yeah.
So really leave it to the artists, the people that know the difference, then sort of stick your nose in.
Yeah.
And that was all part of the actor strike as well because of it. Like that was the whole thing. It was all these guys, number crunchers that were controlling the studios,
Yeah.
and they'd lost the creativity. George Lucas wouldn't survive, wouldn't have happened these days. But thank God he happened when he did. But if it had been this time and date, no, it wouldn't work at all.
Yeah. It's also worth mentioning that this was directed by John McTiernan, who also did Die Hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe they weren't too far apart, wasn't it? What year was it?
Part of was 87. Are you Googling or am I good?
Go on, you Google. My phone's out of my
I'll
reach at
Google.
the moment. Yeah,
Die
so
Hard. Oh, guys, Die Hard too. That's weird. Um, Back to Die Hard 1.
Die Hard 1 was released in
88.
88. And this
So it's a
was,
year apart. John McTiernan and Predator was 1987.
yeah,
So a
yeah,
year apart.
yeah. Um, so imagine you directed Predator and Die Hard. I would just retire then and just do victory laps for the rest of my life.
No, it'd been awesome. But so I'm just something occurred to me there now. They were being made roughly around the same time. Um,
Oh, yeah?
and there was so much. Yeah, Bruce Willis wasn't first choice for John McClane,
I
and there
did
was
hear
so
that.
many behind the scenes, so much behind the scenes chaos, and then you had the behind the scenes chaos for Predator, where the original monster was Jean Claude Van Damme,
Yeah.
and the monster looked. I just read it earlier on. Looked like a cross between a chicken and a lizard,
You sent me a
and
picture of it before
I
this, and
sent you a picture,
I couldn't
and
believe
I
it.
thought send that so people can see what we're talking about. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And Coach Van Damme famously quit or was axed, whatever story you listen to.
Yeah.
Um, and thank God they changed the monster because it wouldn't have worked with
Oh
his
God,
version.
I wasn't impressed with how it looked at all.
No, no. It
This one,
reminded me of an old Doctor Who monster called the Urgon. It looked
right?
like a giant chicken.
There you go.
It was a
Doctor Who
humanoid
fans will know what
chicken.
you're talking about.
Yes, they will. And they'll go, please don't mention that again. Okay.
Oh right, okay. We have a Doctor Who episode coming up soon.
Can't
Um,
wait.
um. So yeah, so the team are being killed off one by one until um. So Mac wants to run off and fucking get revenge for his friend Blaine, who got killed by this thing, and Carl Weathers' character, Dylan, has a bit of a redemption arc in the way that he says, because earlier he said to Arnie's team, they're just assets, they're just expendable. I lied to get
Mm.
you in here just to get the job done. And later, he seems to feel a little shit about that. So he's like, all right, you get your team out of here. I'll go with Mac to try and get whatever this fucker is.
I
So
feel shit about it because he's relying on them to get him home.
that could be it. But I got the
So
feeling
now he's
that
one of the boys. He's one of the boys now. Yeah, you're my best buddies. Where's the chopper?
I mean, that could be it. But I did get the impression that it was genuine. That he's like,
Yeah, yeah.
and
He'd realised he'd broken that friendship.
he goes to Dutch. Yeah, I'll go with him. And Dutch said, "That's not your style, Dylan." And Dylan goes, "I've learned some bad habits from you." So, and then Dutch throws him an extra gun, and himself and Mac go off to hunt the predator.
Yeah,
That scene is, or that whole sequence is just really good. Like, so people don't often talk about this like it's a horror film, but a lot of it is very much a horror film. And some of it, the scenes are very effective horror, I think, and the way it's shot and the way it's done, and I just love that aspect of it. And so the sequence where they're going off to get the predator, um, that's really well done. There's some great shots and the way things are set up, and
yeah.
it's just really really good. And then There's a bit I liked where it was a bit of a misdirection where so Dylan's character's just trailing a bit behind Mac, and you hear the voice over here, and
Mm,
you think it might be the Predator because he recorded that line earlier. Do you remember? And then
yeah.
and then he spots Mac and goes over to him, and they spot the Predator in a tree. He's just they can just kind of barely make him out because he's got his cloak and device on.
It's that ripple thing, and then
Yeah,
all hell breaks loose.
yeah. So they come up with a plan that just doesn't work out. I think Mac was going to flush him towards Dylan, but Mac gets
Yeah,
taken out by the Predators. Pretty gruesome. He just shoots him right in the head, and
yeah, and you get
blood
it
all
full in the
goes.
camera.
His blood, oh yeah, his blood all goes flying towards the camera, which is just great. And then Dylan tries to take on the Predator, and he gets his arm blown off. I always loved that bit in the way that it's like it's just so well done. But as a kid, I was like, oh, that's freaky. Like your arms come off, and it's still shooting the gun and all this.
But I remember this very clearly when we watched. My ma watched it, and she goes, "There's his arm," and if you look at it carefully enough, you can see his arm up his back.
Oh, don't say that. You're ruining it on me.
Yeah, yours.
No,
Like you're head
that's
on.
lies.
So,
Owen
so
Owen is
a one arm,
no
a
Owen's
one-legged man talking about a one-armed man losing it. I mean, what other podcast would you get that on? Seriously.
a one-legged man talking about a one-armed man.
Yeah. That could be your title.
Yeah. I think you're misremembering. I think you're still hungover from your rave you were at.
No, I wish I was hungover. Mother God, no. Maybe it was spiked. That was going to be the thing.
Maybe. Hopefully not. That's awful.
All these people hugging me out of nowhere are strangers.
No, avoid strangers. Don't drink around people you don't know.
Too
Uh,
late. It's a concert.
yeah, you still don't know them.
No, but sure, a stranger's a friend you haven't met yet. I did on whatever,
Whatever. Right.
whatever. Don't think so.
Yeah, you could meet some predators in that
I j-
area.
well, well, I do have some friends as predators, and I have to give a shout out to the Predators Ireland group.
I didn't know where that was
Um,
going to go for a second.
um, do you
Predators
know of this
Ireland,
group?
yeah.
No. Do you know of them?
I do. I've met some of them, yeah.
Yeah. So you've got Brian Campbell and the guys. The first time they ever came to W5 in Belfast, they're always had the jungle set. They're all big plants like a jungle set. They had guys dressed up as soldiers and stuff. But they were Brian's a big fella. Um, and when you see that was the first time meeting a predator in the flesh because the costumes are movie accurate. You can't fault them.
Yeah.
They're absolutely amazing. I remain a fan of them to this day. When they go to Dublin Comic Con, there's always predators. But to walk into that jungle set, and I'd got my wee fella with me at the time. He was only 4 or 5 or something. And for a predator to come up and go, "All right, on," and you go, that predator spoke to me in an Irish accent. I was just awesome. It
Yeah.
was just the best thing ever. I'm like, get the photos out, get the cameras going. I send you a couple of photos, but it was just the attention and the effort those guys put in that is amazing. And it was
Yeah.
the most surreal moment to be spoken to by a predator in an Irish accent from Dublin, and it
Yeah.
was awesome. It was awesome. Just
That's
thought I'd throw it in for the Predator
yeah,
group.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
They're a
they
nice
do
bunch of
some
lads.
good stuff. Yeah, they are
And
do some good stuff.
their
Yeah.
costumes look incredible. So one thing I meant to mention as well, when Mac is going he's running he's running toward the predator, and he's again just giving a really great performance, and he's singing Long Tall Sally because that was playing in the
Mm,
helicopter earlier when the team were traveling into the jungle, and I think Blaine, I think it was his choice to play that song. It seems that way anyway. So
yeah.
that's just a little that's a nice little callback to that. Um, and oh yeah, you get the scene earlier as well where Mac is dry shaving and his razor breaks.
Oh yeah. No, don't like that at all. That I try. But
No,
then they were sweating a lot.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But
that
did
was
you know that the Predators in the original script were called the Yat Ja? Yautja.
Yeah, in the if you read the extended universe stuff,
Mm.
that's the name of their race. I've heard it pronounced so many different ways, so I'm not sure what the correct way to
Oh,
say.
I don't even know what that's. But I'm just reading
Yak
as I speak.
Yakja or something
Yeah,
like that.
Yaja,
Yeah,
probably Yaja.
I've seen it
She's
writ.
probably
I've
better.
seen it written down. I first remember it like long time ago. I read one of the books, and that's where I first found out that I can't even remember what the book was. It was yonks ago. But yeah, and I think they're yeah. So that's the name of their race, and there's things that go back go more into their lore and all that kind of stuff and
Mm.
culture. And some of it's fascinating. Like if you're a Predator fan, go seek some of that stuff out. You learn some great stuff. Um, like before they have they hunt and do their first kill, they're called the Unblooded, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Well, that rings a bell. Yeah,
Yeah, and then when you kill, you become blooded, and later
yeah.
we discovered that they breed xenomorphs to hunt.
And the crossover movies. See, I'm just in heaven. I know a lot of people don't like them. I don't care. I love them.
You're getting your fix.
I love them. Excuse me for burping. But I don't think we could sort of come off this without just mentioning the final battle between Arnie and the Predator, where
Yes, we're
Arnie
getting
becomes primitive.
yeah.
Do you
So
know what I'm talking
yeah,
about? Private?
all the team have been killed off, and I love this idea
Yeah,
that Arnie's been stripped down, as you say, to become really primitive and
yeah.
primal, and he makes some crude weapons, bows and arrows and spears, and he found
Mud.
out earlier that when he's covered in mud, the predator can't see him. It's like camouflage; it hides his body heat.
Yeah, buddy. But isn't
Uh,
that a good effect of the Predator coming out of the water?
oh, it's so cool! Yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah,
Even if you look at it today, that's still a powerful image.
yeah,
When you finally get to see it, and obviously when he's covered in mud on the mud bank, think he's going to be killed, and then realizes they can't see him.
yeah, yeah.
You
So
know, oh, hold on, we might have a fighting chance here.
he fell down a waterfall, splashed into water, swam to shore, and then he's lying face down, and he's kind of just catching his breath. He's kind of getting his second wind. He's relieved that maybe he's got away, and then in the background you see the predator splash down. You're like, oh shit,
Mm.
it's still coming for you.
It's very effective.
Yeah,
Very effective to this day.
yeah, yeah. Another scene I like that's very much like a good kind of horror scene is like Arnie is. I know, Joe. We'll get to that. We'll do it in order. So, yeah. So Arnie starts making all these primitive weapons, and he makes this he makes some of these traps, and he's getting ready for the predator. And then when he's ready for action, he lets out this big primal scream, and then
Mm.
lights a fire, and it's kind of like saying to the predator, "I'm over here. Come get me." And he's swinging around the trees, hugging them with mud covered on him, so the predator can't really see him. There's a great scene where he's hugging a tree, looking around for the predator, and then you just it's slowly revealed that the predator's behind him, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" You have to hold really still. I thought that
Mm.
I love little things like that in this movie. Um, and then yeah, the final showdown between Arnold and the predator is just really well done. It's got so many little neat bits in it. And
It's man versus beast, really, isn't it?
yeah,
Like, so kill or be killed at this point.
yeah, and then it gets to the stage where they're both stripped down. So the predator
Yeah.
has Arnie kind of at his mercy, but Arnie has no weapons or anything. So the predator takes off his gear, takes off his mask, and we finally see what he looks like. And then Arnie goes, "You're one ugly motherfucker."
And how many times has that been parried as well? You know, there's so many
Yeah,
good lines
yeah,
from this that appear everywhere across pop culture,
yeah, yeah.
which are just awesome. And I think the Predator, when he takes his head off, or the helmet off, not his head, um, the scorpion design is just still to this day. I love it. I know they changed it for Prey slightly,
Yeah,
and I don't know where you've seen the new
I have. Yeah.
Predator design. It's still
Oh,
there,
sorry, the
but
new one, new one coming out.
the new one.
I think I seen a screenshot of it where it's like
Yeah, I think it's
a younger predator.
yeah. It still maintains that mouth thing, which was kind of used in Blade 2. You know,
Hmm.
the Reapers, the
Yeah,
vampires, with their jaws open up. but it's just an iconic. I mean, the figures and everything still sell to this day. The
Yeah,
Predator is now owned by Marvel, who's teaming them up against every superhero so far.
yeah.
Spider Man being the latest. So there's just I prefer the Predator with the helmet off because I think it's just such a it's just stunning.
I
It
love,
really
I love,
is.
I love both. I think the helmet looks fucking great, and
Mm,
when he takes it off, it's like just as cool. Like that. It's as I said earlier. It's not just the character design, but it looks so fucking convincing. I think even still.
yeah, and it's Alien. Were you looking for an alien? It's
Yeah,
Alien.
yeah,
Even though it's a man in the suit, even though we know the xenomorph's a man in the suit, it still looks alien.
yeah.
And that's what makes it works. And it can beat the crap out of Arnold Schwarzenegger almost. Really already won that by default. He didn't actually beat the Predator. It was just an accident
What
that he beat the Predator.
I am. Yeah. Well, he would accident say. Well, that sounds maybe a bit unfair to call it an accident.
Hmm.
Because well, first of all, right. So they're both stripped down. They have no weapons, and the predator takes off his helmet, and we see what it looks like through his eyes now without the helmet.
Yeah.
And I can't believe a human like would be able to beat a predator one on one. I just don't think that's going to happen. So Arnie kind of tries to use his traps that he had set up early, and the first one, the predator doesn't fall for it. He walks around it and comes at Arnold from another angle, and then he uses one of his traps that he'd set up, a different one, to
Yeah.
squash the Terminator. This big log on a rope. But yeah, you could say he got maybe
He
it was
got lucky.
he was lucky, but he set up his traps. They paid off in the end. So, um, and then the Predator is kind of at the mercy of Arnold now. Um, he's squashed under this log. Arnold picks up a big rock and he's going to finish him off. And he just looks at him. He goes, "What are you? Like, what the fuck are you?" It's like,
Yeah, you can't really
and he's
do
got
that.
this
But then,
green blood spurting out of him and all this. And
yeah.
um, then the predator starts. So the predator essentially rage quits. he
So that must be, so there must be like almost like a kamikaze thing. If they're beaten, then it's suicide.
Yeah. Well, there's two ways of
What?
looking at it. One is okay, it's dishonorable. You've been beaten by your prey. You end your own life. But I think part of it as well is to get rid of evidence as well, is it? Maybe so there's nothing left.
Hmm,
But
possibly.
yeah, and I heard someone say like, if the predator wanted to kill Dutch, why doesn't he just explode immediately? And I think the answer to that would be that the predator wants to give him a sporting chance to get away.
Yeah, the predators are to prove his worthiness to rejoin the other predators.
Yeah,
So I find it kind of bizarre that self, what do you mean, exploding a sort of like a mini nuclear bomb,
yeah,
um, would sort of go against that, if you know what I mean. Because if you look at Predator 2, obviously there's other predators watching his progress. There has to be, but this is the first movie, so we can't really pick holes in it. But we can sort of add on to what we think we've learned from the other ones. So it's either a suicide mission in the first place or a mission to prove his worth. Um, because remember the ship that was dropped at the start? You wonder where that went.
yeah. Well, no, I don't think it was a suicide mission from the start. I think if you're successful, you're picked up and you go back home for sure.
Aye, that's what I mean. It can potentially be a suicide mission if you're beaten, which sort of
Yeah,
defeats the purpose. Then I don't know,
no, I
but
think
who cares? It's
because you
Predator.
no, I think it all works really well because like you go hunt something and it beats you, you're like, well, you're a
Yeah,
failure now, so you just take your own life and blow everything to shit. I think it
it can
works.
also
I
be.
think it works really well.
Yeah, the Predators cover all bases. That could be it too.
Yeah, yeah. So and then yeah, this little mini nuke goes off and Arnie just about gets out of the way, and the chopper comes, and we find out that Anna had gotten onto the chopper and she was safe and sound. So Arnie and her are the two survivors. And I love the shot of Arnold when he's in the helicopter and it's flying away. The look on his face is great.
Yeah.
He's exhausted. He's confused. He's like, what the fuck was all that?
He's probably traumatized,
Yeah, yeah.
but he's lost everything,
His
thrown
whole
into a situation he never thought would happen, lost everybody he cared about, and now he's on his way to Jurassic Park. Oh no, wait, it's the wrong helicopter. Um, but it's and like you always thought he would come back for number two, but obviously he didn't. But it's interesting
I heard.
what happens
I'm not
afterwards.
sure. I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard he was supposed to be Gary Busey's character in the second one, but that changed.
That's possible.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the one that comes in and tells them all about this thing, but um, Predator 2 is another conversation anyway.
Oh, totally.
But yeah, so that's Predator. It's fucking awesome. It's
Oh, I did meet another Predator. I'm just remembering Ian White. What did he play Predator in? Could be
uh,
Predators, but I
right.
met him. So I have a Predator and a Dylan to my name,
Mm,
and I'm due to meet another Predator in November
yeah,
in Dublin Horicon over at National Sports Centre, I think it is, down at Swords.
yeah.
Derek Mears is coming, so I'll have another Predator by the end of the year.
I'm really looking forward to that event.
Yeah, yeah.
They got Art the Clown.
I've never watched that,
Oh, they're great fun.
but it's one of the best pictures, photographs somebody's taken of me in a clown ever. I
Oh,
actually have it on my computer,
nice.
screenshot. But no, I've never watched Terrifier. But no, there's some good guests, and there's
Mm.
more to be announced.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a great show.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a nice location because you're not going through 40 toll bridges just to get to freaking National Centre. It's because you turn off the swords, you avoid the toll bridges, thankfully.
Yeah,
But that's where it all began.
yeah,
That's where it all began. That's where it all started 12 years ago, and we were there, and it was just here we are 12 years later. It's amazing.
yeah. So that's Predator. Let us know in the comments what are your favorite Predator movies. So this for me is number one for sure. But what are we'll say your top three in the comments. Top three Predator movies. And if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. Owen, where can these lovely
Yes.
folks find you and all your fantabulous work?
Um, they can find me on the Time Warriors and Beyond website, on Instagram, the Time Warriors author, and Facebook, Owen Quinn. Um, Twitter, the same, Owen Quinn. I know it's Irish author on Twitter, but yeah, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
in a lot of places right
you're in a lot of
now.
places. You need to pick one, and then
I'm everywhere but the crib, basically.
you can follow me on Instagram at Stephen Carey Stories. My horror novel Gordon Night Bad Dreams is currently only $1.99 on Kindle. There'll be a link in the description if you want to check that out. Now is a good time to jump into Gordon Night. And we
Also, my Kindle's down to 199.
no way.
Yeah, I just thought I'd try something different. I forgot all about it. Then you mentioned yours there now.
What one of yours is reduced?
All of them.
Right.
Zombie Blues 1, 2, and 3, and the entire Time Warrior series down to 199,
There you go.
just to give people a boost because I know how hard it is for people with money these days.
Oh, for
So I
sure.
just thought, let's if we
Especially when it's authors they don't know, never
yeah,
heard of. Like you want to
yeah,
give them something
yeah,
where they can just jump in easy enough and check it out.
yeah.
So
That's why I put excerpts on the website, and then I've reduced the Kindles down. 199 is better than sometimes 10.99 or whatever. And you
yeah,
never know. It only takes that one person, and that could be the most significant 199 you'll ever spend in your life.
there you go. If you want to check out some indie authors, there'll be links in the description. And
It means us. Check us out.
yeah,
Or even, yeah, 199.
if any of that sounds interesting, right?
It does.
We will be back soon. We're going to do another recording after this one. Isn't that right, Owen?
Yeah, yeah.
We're just going to be answering some random questions. So we don't know how long that video will be, but we're going to record that after this, but it'll be out a few days after
Entertaining.
this one.
And be entertaining. They always are entertaining. That's the way it
Well,
is.
listen, I always enjoy your madcap stories. I wasn't expecting you to tell a story about you being at a rave and being felt up. That was
I
that
know,
was
but
unexpected.
I never told you a story about how I wrote the original Predator, and I wasn't in the right circles for it to be picked up, and that's a true story.
Right.
But mine wasn't set in the jungle. Mine was set on, the Beast of Bodmin Moor, the big black cat thing. I switched it to an alien I called the Predator, as I was like 19 or 16 or something.
There you go.
Um, I wrote the whole story and then wrote a story for it was very similar to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And next thing, Predator comes out, and I went, oh well,
There you
that's the
go.
end of that one.
It's mad. That's happened to me a few times where I come up with an idea and I start developing it and stuff, and something really similar comes out. Like, oh, I have to scrap that now.
Yeah, yeah.
But all right. Thanks everyone for listening to this load of nonsense. If you enjoyed it, give a like and subscribe, and we will be back soon. Bye bye.
See you next time.